Welcome to today's Crypto and Stocks TA live stream by No Fomo Charts. Today is September 12th. Right now it's approximately 7 o'clock p.m. in the evening, New York time. And we're going to go ahead and get started with the TA today. Please keep in mind this is just educational technical analysis only. This is not financial advice. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start with Bitcoin, and we're probably just going to do a 1 hour stream today. So I'm on the daily chart. I'm going to use Bitcoin USDT on the 1 day chart from Binance, and let's get our support and resistance levels up. And so we do see very quickly, though, as I was saying yesterday, that we're probably going to get a lower high bounce, right? And Bitcoin actually bounced up 3% today from session lows overnight. So let's go ahead and get the support and resistance up. Resistance at 52,873. There's support here at 44622. It's interesting to note, though, that if you look, where did we bounce from? There's a support level right here. Okay, so it's not just floating in space in the random spot of nowhere, right? There's a support level right here, obviously at basically right about 45,000 approximately, which is where we held. We held there for 2 days. Okay, and what's interesting, make sure the stream is on. And what's interesting is that we're going to try to get this bounce. Okay. So we draw our trend line. And again, this Bitcoin chart, actually, the Binance chart is slightly different than the other exchanges that I was looking at in the past couple of days. So that's why I'm bringing up this Binance chart. First off, it's a large exchange, and the price action is a little bit different. So, right now we got just the big resistance and support levels up. Okay, so let's call it out. Resistance at 52,750, resistance 47,435, support 44815, support 42719. Now keep in mind we're on the daily chart. We're on the daily chart right now. If we zoom in a little bit, you're going to see some of this price action. Okay, some of this price action. And again, what was I saying for a couple days on the stream is that we might get a lower low, lower high, lower low, and then lower high bounce, right? I said that for 2 days straight. Potential lower high bounce, so to watch for that and how that's going to affect altcoins. So if you're in my group, if you're following me or watching the stream, I called that out for almost 2 hours yesterday on many altcoins. The same pattern is forming, right? Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, right? Which means that would mean it was up to this point. But does that mean we're going to break out? No. What that means is we went from a down to an uptrend reversal, right? So if this is true on the 1 hour, up, down, basically up, how high up could we go? We could potentially retest the 47351 on the top price, the resistance, and the support on bottom, 44687. So if someone's intraday just played those two levels, resistance and support. Also, there seems to be, right, this trend line was broken and is back tested, just like I said on the stream. Are people understanding what I'm saying? Hopefully somebody out there does, because I called this out. You just rewind the tape, the video, right? As I said, this probably what's going to happen. Lower low, lower highs, right? And I said, this is the reversal, pivot inflection point. Higher high, higher low. And I said, this could be the support, right at 44749. Somebody pay attention, right? Boom, boom, higher high. And I said, All right, then probably we might retest common patterns, retest, bounce off this, and bounce up. And then what happened with the price? In the past couple hours, we're up 3%. Okay, so it's because, like I said in the weekend stream, is markets were closed. Half the markets were closed on Saturday, right, which is yesterday, my time. And then markets are opening, people are getting back to work, right? Traders are coming back, institutions, hedge funds, traders coming back from the weekend, right? And this is happening in the market right now. But what I want to watch out for is that this doesn't mean we're just going to shoot up straight. Like price never usually does that, right? So remaining objective, up, down, up, right? Maybe we'll get a retest at some point. Maybe, again, we might touch 47,300, right? And maybe pull back down to 46,285. Okay, so this is actually a support level right below where we are right now in the price. And oh, that's interesting. You can't see the chat on the right side. Okay, let me move the box then. Only I can see the chat. Okay, one moment while I adjust this chart. There we go. Just make it bigger. The chat gets hidden for some reason, anyways, on public streams. Okay, so that's the setup. And again, if anybody has any request for stock or crypto ticker, just let me know. Okay, but we're tracking Bitcoin right now. And yes, we'll go over some altcoins, okay, as an example, but we need to spend quite a bit of time on Bitcoin. So again, longer term targets, or if you start zooming out a little bit, remember, we have basically two resistance levels and then two support levels, essentially. All right, so what is it? Just for reference for the week is up here we have a top resistance at basically 50,000 if you want a psychological number. And then we have 47,300 as the top side resistance, this blue line. Then right underneath where we are right now, just in case we break bearish for the week, 46,000, and then 44,649, and then 42 or 43,000 whole number down here. Okay, so what I would watch for is this a pattern forming? 4%, right? And then additional 4% would bring us back to like 49,000. Right, so somewhere 49, 50,000 could be a potential target upside for this week if bullish momentum continues. If it does not, so this is the bullish scenario, right? Because we've been waiting. Where's the lower high bounce, right? We've been waiting for that. This is a second attempt. I don't know if people realize this was the first attempt and it didn't work. Rejection. Second attempt here by the bulls, starting from today, right? But again, it was back tested, so that's interesting with price. But this has to keep maintaining upward momentum, or else it's going to pull back at some point. It's going to stop somewhere up here, probably. So we want to watch for that in the price. Again, markets basically just opened a couple hours ago with people starting from the Asian and European sessions. So going to watch out for that. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. That's Bitcoin. We'll do a little bit more cryptos. But we want to watch out for, again, is this a pattern forming? Is this Morningstar pattern? Possible, right? It is a nice piercing candle, right? Second attempt by the bulls. Here we go. Right, we got two targets to the upside. All right, let's do another altcoin. Let's just go down the list now. I mean, no one has requests, so we'll just go down the list really fast. I'll do these much faster. We're probably not going to go intraday, but let me just erase some of this. All right, so our support and resistance still holds, right? We have the resistance yellow box on top, which is that basically 4,000 to 4,300 on Ethereum chart on the 1 day. Okay, so this Binance chart is much different, right? We lost the trend line support. The first bull rally attempt, the first 2 days failed, bear breakdown, and then we have our Morningstar pattern right here. Is this going to complete? Maybe, right? It really depends. Can bulls keep up the price momentum for like a week straight? That's what the bulls need right now to do, to test this, maybe test it, maybe bounce down and retest it, right? Or break above in a really bullish scenario and retest resistance up here. So 4,000 is the big target. The next target is probably somewhere in like the 3620 range, right? For resistance. And then support is below this. So 3183 and then 3,000. Okay. So that's all I say about Ethereum is that, watch for the intraday price. If you're a day trader, if you're a swing trader, you want to watch out for just good setups, right? You don't want to just close your eyes and jump into the market for no reason, right? Because again, the bullish scenario is this needs to really, really break high over time, right? There's a lot of work to be done for bulls to maintain the daily uptrend. But just this lower high is the most likely scenario, and we'll probably retest somewhere here, maybe if momentum stays, and then we might reject down from that in a bearish case, or bullish case, maintain it, ride it up, and break through. All right. Let me just bring up another list so we could go a little faster here. Okay, Cardano, moving along here. Cardano on the daily chart, Binance. We have a resistance at $3. Okay, support at 237. How did I make this one? Boom, right here, and there's a touch point on the left side. So at least some numbers. Then resistance 281, then support to the downside 224, $2. All right, and then the big resistance at top 311 all-time high. So as you can see, we're just bouncing around here, right? We're analyzing price. Draw a trend line. All right, so this is a trend line what I watch out for, right? It touched that point exactly during the first flash crash day, right there, literally on the spot. All right, so it went lower low, lower high, but then it made a higher low and then higher high. Now we're down. Okay, so Cardano is different than Bitcoin in the price action. If you really need to look at it, then zoom in on your time frame and just look at the price, right? Because we went down and then we were going angling up right now. So what needs to happen, but we had resistance at 277 and support at 250. So now we're stuck on Cardano right now, probably because other altcoins were bouncing, rallying over the weekend. So traders probably just went somewhere else. And there's a bit of a pullback too, right? Because what needs to happen here is we went from, there's a double top here, so that's bad. Okay, if you measure this 5% to the downside, will bring us back to about the blue line, so like 245 to be exact, right? So there's a intermediate shorter term time frame trend support. In yellow, the circle, this would be an interesting spot, right? Just pointing that out there as an interesting price level because we hit the resistance and now it's pulling back. So Cardano, there's a little bit of bearish momentum, but it did actually on intraday just barely almost poke that price. You see that on the yellow circle, the candle, right? So it just essentially in a upward sloping parallel channel, basically. You can also draw it like that. All right, so it's just kind of stuck there. The psychology of it. All right, so I just want to watch out for a Cardano price. But if we zoom out though and just understand the bigger picture is trying to maintain that weekly higher low, right? Because in a few hours from now, the daily candle will finally close, right? So this was uptrending. We pulled back, we made that lower high. So are we going to stop here and pull back down? That's a bearish scenario down to 220, right? If not, bulls need to have a lot of work to do to push this up over time to retest $3. That's the two scenarios, right? $3 resistance, 276 resistance, 244 support, $2 support. Those are the big levels on Cardano. Next, Binance Coin, BNB. I'm using USDT now because there's a lot of global people watching this, so USDT is probably the easiest chart to look at for everybody. And it's Binance Exchange. Okay, Binance Coin, again, we had the double top. All right, double top, and then we found support at 400 psychological dollars, right? US dollars, and then we hit the target. We went 2 times the target, and now of the double top, and then we're retesting. So again, this is bull's second attempt. Second attempt. Bulls trying to strike back against the bears in the market. Just remember, there's a lower support here at 367 and then the intermediate resistance at 440. So now that you have these levels, and one additional trend line, because I'm going to keep always redrawing this, right? Yes, I could leave it, but sometimes redrawing actually helps you find additional, because the price is changing every day. You're getting new information every day. So 4 minutes, again, you could kind of see it's been stuck. I've been saying this for almost a week straight now. 5 days straight now is we're stuck between these two levels, 441 and 392. So one could also, yes, you could draw a triangle, but also you could draw probably a parallel channel as well, because you have at least multiple touch points. Okay, so it just looks like it's trying to hold. Okay, Binance Coin, because you went down, and this was the inflection reversal point. So now hopefully Binance Coin for bulls will retest this 435 to the upside. Hopefully, right? Because you're riding this trend line like 7 times down here. So you want to watch out for that on Binance Coin. So big levels, okay? The bull case scenario is what I was just mentioning. We bounce up off this right here, support and this candle pattern. Hopefully we get some bull follow through and big volume coming in the next couple of days. Buyers, bulls, regaining strength after taking a break from the market, right? 432 and 440 would be the two longer term targets. If it fails though, if this does not happen, if this fails or afterwards, right, you might see a pullback back down to the 400 retest, 380, 367, right? So those are the targets that we're looking at essentially on Binance Coin. Okay, next one, I'm trying to go much faster because it's all about technical analysis on this stream and this group. So let me just erase some of this from yesterday, but the rest of the charts apply. So we have the trend line. Okay, so first off, there's large resistance. Okay, actually this chart might have gotten messed up. So let me redraw this. Yeah, something's wrong with this chart. All right, so we redo it. But we have resistance at $1.42 and support at $5. Resistance at $1.25, support at 96 cents. Those are not the only ones, but those are the closest ones for now, right? And then you have this support trend line got broken, and then you have this resistance trend line on top. Make it nice for people to see. And the same kind of psychology applies like Bitcoin, except all coins are bouncing a little nicer, right? Lower low, lower high, and then lower, and then higher low. So right here is the bull's attempt on the shorter term time frames, right? So Ripple, we're on XRP right now. If I didn't announce it, we're on XRP Ripple chart, okay? And again, you could start drawing stuff even on the intermediate inside intraday price, right? So I'm seeing this here. What else am I seeing? Like you could see this although it was violated right here in this big one, so you don't have to draw like that. This one makes more sense, right? Because it was tried to bounce and failed longer term, and then the trend change reversal here. Boom, we broke out, retest, and now we're up just like Ethereum, right? I was calling this yesterday right here, or maybe 2 days ago. I said it has to bounce and break out and do that, and that's exactly what happened. Okay, so technical analysis works if you have the objective, knowledge and skills. Okay, so that's what you want to watch out for. That's what you want to watch out for. So where are our resistances? We have to get some more accurate resistance points. All right, so all these levels I just marked. First target, $1.16, $1.20, $1.23, $1.25. Those are targets to the upside, and notice that it was tested once before, so bulls can try to retest it again. Okay, possible to retest it again. So we just have to maintain the intraday uptrend, right, which would continue our daily reversal. Okay, so just would watch out for that. Downside targets would be obviously $8, $6, $3, $1. All those targets. I would just watch the price. And if you see, you have a strategy that works or a system or setup that works, then more power to you in the market, right? It's just bulls need to come back with the follow through. Markets are open right now. I hope people realize that. It's not a random time to be streaming right now. All right, so next, Solana, big darling of last week. So let me just go ahead and just leave this price analysis up. Maybe I'll just erase the targets though. But the resistance, these are all good. Okay, why there's so many lines, you're wondering? Because if you back up here and you look at this chart, the lines got all messed up. But basically, there are larger term trend lines on Solana. Okay. Yes, if you just go on a daily, it looks like it just went straight up into the sky. So from a certain point of view, Solana did moon. If you think about it, right? In 3 months, you went from 20 to 200. That's basically a moon play in crypto, right? Meaning it went up a lot. So where's our big resistance right now? And I called this literally 3 days ago on the stream. I said, exactly, if this becomes a shooting star, because this used to be a big giant green candle while we were streaming, but I said if this looks exactly like that and turns to a red candle shooting star, we're going to see a reversal pattern, and that is exactly what happened. Because these 3 candles are weak. 1, 2, 3 weak candles in a row. Very weak. Okay, so there's that reversal pattern right there. Then you could draw the longer term trend lines. Right? Just because when something moons, got to be prepared. Because if it crashes, what are you going to do, right? So resistance on the top, 216, 200, right? Support on the immediate bottom, 169, 147. These are bigger levels, 130. Okay. And then if you see here, the bottom trend line is way down here. That has happened before on Solana where it went up and you consolidated, you pulled back, bull flag basically, and it went sideways for basically a month, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if this pulled back for the rest of the month or maybe downtrended. It'll bounce, but it'll just angle down over time. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. But if you zoom in really, really close, right? Get some immediate price levels. Okay, we'll see here that yes, we did maintain some support at 168 over the weekend. Okay, that's nice. We did downtrend into a very short-term rally on Saturday, my time, and then downtrending till now. But we did hit the support right now, so it's very interesting what Solana is going to probably do in the next 1 or 2 days. But keep in mind the EMA short-term is down cross. Okay, so it has a little bit of resistance right above it. Do you see that? Also, if you didn't use the EMAs, you just draw a basic trend line, right? Connect it, and there you go. Also here, so it's descending triangle. So what needs to happen is with Solana price, 10% with a maximum of 20%, right? So 5, 10, 20% move probably in the cards incoming for Solana up or down, right? If in the bull scenario, okay, 5% up would be like 185. Let's get these targets up now. 185. 10% up would be like 195. 20% up over time. It's not going to shoot straight up in the air, but I'm saying over time. 213, right? Like it might do this, breakout, retest. This is a bull case scenario. If it fails, then 5, 10, 15, 20% to downside eventually, right? So 161, 33, 10% to downside would be like 153, here 20, 136. Right? I want to watch out for that. Okay, next. Dot. Gotta spend a little less time on these. Dot with the nice reversal bounce. Actually, let's rewind. Okay, and again, see the levels that I drew. I just did dot like a couple days ago, right? Although this channel, I don't know why the drawings keep getting messed up. It's very strange. But our support and resistance survived, right? So I said this is the top side target, 35.45, and we literally broke through that today in literally one day. Okay, so what I was saying is basically this has to maintain the uptrend, and we got that bull volume, we got that bull follow through starting from today. Very nice on dot. So where are we going now on dot? Right? You want to watch out though. It's at a resistance spot. Okay. So if you just look at it in the empty space, it looks like you have no idea. Like people have no idea where it's going to go. But if you actually draw the lines, you know it's going right into the resistance trend line above it. It could stop there. Okay, so bullish. Let's start the bullish scenario because you already have the bullish momentum, right? Is it might if it wants to keep going up, if buyers keep buying, basically, there is the resistance up here. I'm gonna call this whole top side the resistance zone, right? So it could keep rallying for like this, test this, and go up to like 40, 45. So that could be top side target, right? Watch out for that. Okay, this resistance is very tricky because this was a strong resistance 7 times in a row, 6 times. Now we're just about to touch it. So I would be a little bit cautious of this, right? The resistance up there. The support probably at like 33 or 34 is a more likely scenario of the bear side, right? Because if this goes here, it might bounce up, reject down to 33. So I would watch those two levels. But if you just want to lock this thing in, probably resistance 38, 34, support about 33.84. All right, so the two blue circles for dot. Okay, next, Doge and then Luna. Somebody asked for Luna like after the stream is over, so we'll get there eventually. So Doge really fast, support and resistance levels. Doge. All right, we have resistance at 31.75 and 34.64 and 26.75, right? And then support at 23.77. and 22 cents. Right, so this whole zone is resistance and support. And then there are trend lines. You can see there's a stronger trend line right here that I'm seeing. And there's a longer term trend line from down here. Actually, you got to adjust it. Okay, so it's in a much larger term equilibrium symmetrical type of triangle. You just barely got the touch points. So, what I find interesting is yes, Doge hype did kind of get a lot smaller in the past couple of months after the crash. Obviously, the past like 5-6 months, but it is doing something still longer term, right? Doge just didn't freeze and disappear in the world. So we have this touch point, this touch point, this touch point, and we're basically making the touch point right now. So if it's equalizing, equilibrium pattern, okay, then if it's gonna bounce up to the target, all right, that's 30 cents. It's 30 cents. It's not just gonna go up in one day. It might, but probably not, right? Might take several sessions for us to get there, and maybe even pull back on the way up. Like, let me use different. Might see something like this, like here or here, right? But that's the bigger term target, 30 cents, right? If that fails and this doesn't hold, then support, you could see it's already been tested, but it could fall down out of here, reject, and pull back down to like 20 cents. So those probably a decent two good long-term targets, right? Intermediate target is like 28, obviously, but basically there's only two scenarios that's more likely to happen, right? But the more likely scenario right now is because we are holding this trend line support for 5 days, right? And bulls are attempting a rally is, will this bounce? Are buyers going to buy Doge is the main question, because it is at a support. That's all I'm going to say. It is at a support level. Okay. Doge. No, we just finished Doge. Luna USDT. Okay. All these drawings. All right. So Luna USDT, we had the nice rally 3 days ago. That's why it came to everybody's attention, because it already popped up. 43.54. Let's say 5. Resistance. 43.54 resistance, 37.81 support. And we have big support down here at 22.52, 26.31, 35, right? These are all these resistance and support levels. Okay? Then just draw the trend line above it and below. So we got the below one, and I can see there's one here. It's very steep though. Yep. Now you see, right? You actually do the work on the charts, the basic, you know, but the most important fundamentals of charting, right? Then you understand it's just like everything else. You go here, you hit the resistance like 5 times. Okay, pull back, hold the support 3 days, boom, up. That's why. Where's the target? All of this, breakthrough, boom, you hit here and reject from the resistance, down. That's the play-by-play. 44.50 is resistance, 37.20 support. Now we're stuck. Zoom in intraday to see what's going on. This price, right? It's literally just stuck between those two levels. So it could just, now it's range bound for 2 days, right? Here, stuck here. So if it's going to bounce up, bull, retest the 43.71 area, right? If it's going to break bear, pull back down to like 34.35, right? And do this, right? Or it could just consolidate. It could be range bound like the Russell 2000. So Luna, those are the 3 scenarios. Next, Uniswap. USDT. All right. So we see Uni kind of looks like Binance Coin, the chart. So the first thing I see is, yes, it did go parabolic, right? So let me switch to a log chart. Uni went from $2 to like $40. It's absolutely beautiful chart. All right, but we get these trend lines on top. as such. Boom, right? Another trend line. Boom. Now you understand, right? And there's an older trend line back here. Like this is like if you're doing technical analysis, I mean, you can't just draw every single trend line, but I'm saying there was an older one back there. And see, this is an example where just like Solana, this could happen, right? You go up a lot, and then there's a huge open gap here. That's something will happen there, and maybe you'll hit the support, and this failed and kept going down. So that's an example of why I'm drawing that older trend line, right? As a previous example. Now there's a new trend line, new setup, right? So where are we at with uni? We're at the resistance and we're not at it, but we got rejected from the resistance, double top, drop down. The target was negative 24%. We almost hit that target, right? One could say we did hit the target, right? If you do conservative, and now it's stuck there. So with uni, it's very simple. Just box in this little bear flag right there. Immediate resistance 25, support 21. Big target to the upside 31.58. Lower side target 17.56. You get those four targets. Now you understand where it could go, and it's just a matter of the bull or bear price breaks, right? If this goes up, you're going up to those levels, retest this resistance. If not, right, this could bounce for like a day or two and fall back down to 19, 18, 17, 16. Okay. Next one, AVAX. AVAX. So AVAX had a really nice weekend. AVAX with the rally. All right, excuse me, I'm going to take a sip of water. Okay, so AVAX, USDT, 1 day Binance chart. AVAX getting stuck right at the resistance, okay? Because just because you see green on whatever exchange or website you're using, right? This is why we use technical analysis, is because you look left and boom, we're right at the ceiling, temporary ceiling for AVAX. So you want to watch out for that, okay? You don't want to get too cocky because what needs to happen is if we're going to break up to try to do a bull rally, right? We got to break up, retest 69, and then go to 100. That needs to happen on the bull case scenario. If not, it's already been rejected here once. It could get rejected here twice, possible, right? So the bear scenario is just you get rejected on this doji or maybe a shooting star, one little poke out, and then retreat down, right? That could definitely happen. Although this is a good reversal signal, but again, because of the size of this move, I wouldn't be surprised if you retrace back down to 45. Okay, so 45 is downside support. 3570 is um, secondary support. Resistance at 68, and then probably everything above here is mega resistance right for now. Is it over? It's not over. It's not over. It's just you happen to be at the temporary resistance ceiling right now. Okay, so you want to watch out for those. And then just watch for the intraday momentum, right? Because you can see on the 1 hour chart, you just straight up going up. So, okay, it's just really our bull's going to buy and push it back up. This very simple. If not, it'll probably break down and pull back halfway, right? So that's the numbers on AVAX. Next, Link. Trying to do more. We're going to switch to stocks soon because we need to, not everybody's into only crypto. So this is probably the last one unless somebody has a request for crypto. Okay, so Link right here, 52.93 resistance, right? I'm on the Link USDT Binance chart. Resistance at 35.15, support 24.17 and 20. And then there's a way bottom one down here, 13.55. All right. And then you get the trend line in. And you'll notice, boom, right there, we're retesting the bottom of the trend line. Okay. Boom. We hit higher, high, higher, low, boom, here, down, and now we're retesting. Just like I was saying, it's probably going to happen on almost every single altcoin out there. Almost every single altcoin out there, right? the retest. But again, it's bull's second attempt. So if we're going to go really bull move, then bulls need to just buy, right? In terms of, and again, it's not financial advice. This is just the scenario. Because we had this triangle, okay, on the 1 hours, and the pattern broke out, like I was saying. Let me zoom in. Here it is, right? It's not entirely perfect, but here it is. There's this flag. There was a triangle up here. That was right here. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. This larger, somebody could call it bear flag, but it's kind of just, that's huge. That's too big though. It's kind of just equilibrium symmetrical. So we measured this yesterday. Exactly said it has to do this, right? And that is literally what happened. Literally. Because the price change reversal, we're going from down, inflection point, up, right? So now what needs to happen is need to just keep this upward momentum, right? People need to buy the ask, right? And try to get us up, the bulls. If not, if this fails, this upper 34 and 37, right? Then boom, 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 pull back down to like 25, 20. All right. So, and again, there's a bunch of cryptos. All I'll end with is yes, crypto, not every coin is connected directly to Bitcoin, but why? So somebody might be asking, why is Atom up 26%? Why is Ecstasy Tezos up 13%? Why is Algo up 20%? Why is One Harmony up 18%? Why is Sushi Coin up 12%, right? Why? People are just asking that. It's because the price of the technical analysis and the setups were all there, right? Why is EGLD up 20%, 19%, right? It's because not everything is 100% connected to Bitcoin, but more than 50% of the time, so like 60, 70, 80% of the time, whatever Bitcoin does, all coins follow. So sometimes all coins lead, sometimes Bitcoin leads, right? But basically, right here, this is setup forming, right? When this was green and this was green today, that's when you started seeing the altcoins, right? Really exploding. When did this explode? Today, overnight. When did Atom explode? Today, overnight. Algo, same deal. H bar. H bar is nice actually. You had H bar 1 day ahead, right? This one, same deal, right? So just understanding the correlations. That's the last thing I'll say about Bitcoin, okay? Because the inverse is true. When this crashed, every single altcoin crashed like negative 20% down, okay? So at some point, I was calling it for a week straight almost, 5 days straight, that we're going to get a bounce. But the first attempt failed and the second attempt was good on this particular scenario in time. All right, we're going to end the last like 15 minutes with some stocks because not everybody's a crypto trader. So again, we're going to switch gears now. We're going to talk about the USA stock market right now for the last like 15, 20 minutes, okay? Because a very similar pattern is emerging, although things could get worse or could get better for Dow Jones, okay? So what I was saying yesterday is, and we'll just erase the targets, is we have these two trend lines, right? We've been uptrending in the Dow Jones USA Stock Market Index for literally 1.5 years, right? But even just visually looking at the price, you could see it's not going straight up anymore, right? It's kind of curving, right? So what does that mean? There's resistance up here. Resistance 35,681, 35,000, right? And then a support. We lost that support. So what I was saying on my idea, if you're following me on my profile, my Discord, is that once we lose that support, there could be a potential problem long term. But short term, you might see a bounce. Like tomorrow, we might bounce green just like Bitcoin. It depends on the market, right, and the news. and just technically if buyers are going to buy. So it's not 100% news, but you know what I mean, right? If we open tomorrow and then there's immediate bearish news from some new information, that would be bad. But if there's no news tomorrow, right? And then markets open up and no one, and, you might see some attempted selling, but then, we might see a bounce, right? So let me start with long term though, because we were in this uptrend, but here's the inflection point. You hit the resistance, bounced, and then consolidate here. This was not good. This is how I knew something bad was going to happen on Dow Jones, right? More than 7 days of consolidation in the pattern. If it was real bull move, we should have hit this target up here that I was saying on my idea, 35,860 range. That did not happen. So then I'm like, okay, you had this pattern here, the triangle, breakdown. Intraday, you can see because of the wicks, there's a little battle, right? It was moving up, and this one moved up, and this one's moved up and went down, right? So the larger pattern that I'm concerned about, is this potential reversal. We could see further downside. That's why I'm drawing the second support down there. Okay, we could see further downside on S&P, on Dow Jones, and actually S&P 500, right? Because this was going up, and this looks like it's starting to angle down. We're very sensitive to the charts, okay? But again, short term, we're probably going to see bounces, intraday bounces, like the first 30 minutes, first hour of the market. It's going to be pretty volatile this week every morning. And we have some news announcements like retail data numbers and CPI numbers as well in the middle of the week. So we want to watch out for that. All right, so stocks is much, much more data-driven, fundamental news, politics, corporations, earnings, right? It's a whole different beast than crypto. Crypto responds well to charts, right? Stocks is different. There's a lot of information and moving parts and participants in the market. Okay, so the targets is support 34,518, right? Resistance 34,868, and then resistance 34,097, and then bottom support 34,300. All right, so I would really watch out for that. Here's where I would pop out EMAs. Okay, because we already lost the 50 EMA and the shorter term 20 EMA, right? So then our next target to the downside for a touch would be right here at 34398. And then if something goes really bad over time, like if this starts downtrending for real, then the 200 EMA right here, somewhere around 33,000, would be the downside target, right? But I'm hoping that it'll stop and we'll bounce up at some point, just like Bitcoin a little bit. Okay, next chart, S&P 500. All right, S&P 500, this looks like rainbow color on the charts. We'll turn everything off, right? The volume is getting a little bit less. It's not hugely significant, but we do see the angle of the volume down and the price was angling up. And again, I call this on my idea that we're going to hit, this is a resistance zone, okay, correctly up here on the top, right? We start drawing trend lines, boom, you see we were at the resistance for 4 days, right here in the yellow circle, right? You tested that 2 times, a bit of rounding. This was 2 days of bull attempt to break through. That did not happen. So then we pulled back significantly. So resistance at 4539, resistance 4480, support 4443, 4404, 4375. Right. Well, now what I'm saying is this is going to be an interesting spot in the blue right here, 4443, because that is going to be our trendline support test, right? Because we tested it how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the 5th test. But by now, though, it's very obvious, though, right? Resistance has been tested like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, right? So 5th time, what's going to happen right here? Okay. That's something to really, really think about and watch out for in S&P 500, okay? Because in the past, it did pierce down for like a day and the next day reversed, right? So I'm going to very, very watch that closely this week. All right, so longer term, if it's bull move and things are fine, then we're going to bounce back up, right? If not, we're going to maybe bounce up, and if it's bad, fail and bounce trend down. That's S&P 500. We got to go to NASDAQ. We got to get some tech stocks in here. So QQQ, this is the NASDAQ ETF for stocks. Now we get our trend line on the bottom, we get our trend line on the top. It's my style, right? Actually, it's actually classical technical analysis, not just my style. We have resistance 382.73, support 375, support 370, another support 365, right? And we're holding this resistance. Again, I call this as a resistance trend line area on my idea. That's why I don't change my ideas all the time. You know what I mean? You set the idea as an investor and then let it play out and let the price confirm instead of people just making opinions, right? So the price is my guide. The price is the truth. I always say that for the most part charts. So where's the pullback area? 373 zone, right? Or maybe like 375. So like upper 370s is the support zone. I'll be watching for that because two scenarios. Are we going to touch it and bounce up over time? Maybe to retest the 385 resistance up here or 382, right? If not, bounce, pullback, rejection, down. Those are two scenarios in this particular case. So I would watch for that with the NASDAQ stocks. And NASDAQ has some relationship to Bitcoin as well, because remember, Bitcoin is financial technology. All right, let's keep going. Let's do gold because some people do a little bit of Forex, right? So I'm on XAU USD, daily chart on the Oanda. So this is a longer term analysis for gold. And if we zoom out a little bit for like about 1.5 years of data, we can draw the upper trend line. We can draw the lower trend line. And you'll see that we are long-term in a descending triangle, right? If you extend this out all the way, it's a descending triangle for, going out for a year, 1.5 years forecast of the future. So right here, we are hitting our points, right? This used to be resistance. Now this is the resistance. Resistance is support, right? So the resistance will be up here on top, like upper mid $1,845. So where are we right now? Well, we downtrended and we bounced up. So I wouldn't be surprised if we established a higher low at like 1756 right here, a contended spot, 1756, right? So the two scenarios would be pull back and then retest the 1838 over time. This could take like 1 or 2 months, right? If not, right, might pull back down to support. So those are the three levels I'll be watching for on gold right now, long term. Okay, just these three levels: 1858, 1758, 1677. Okay, let's do silver. We haven't really done silver a lot on this channel. Moving on to silver from a different class. Okay, so we know that silver has been consolidating this to the side, to the right. This is what I'm talking about, consolidating, doing this way for about a year and a half now. So because it's going sideways, I'm going to do a different style of tool, use the parallel channel, boom, like that, lock it in. Now you have your targets. This looks like the Russell 2000 to me, okay? This is silver USD. And we're going to end soon, probably in about 10 minutes. Anybody has any last minute stock or crypto requests, let me know in the chat, please. So again, we have our resistances right here. Resistance, 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 support, support, support on silver. And it's been downtrending. Attempted trend change reversal. So if the support for silver immediate is 2350 and the resistance is 25 on top. Right? So you want to watch out for that. Higher high, higher lows. Like that. Right? Will this happen on silver? Maybe. But we need some bull follow through. Right? We need buyers to come in and buy this market of silver for whatever reason, just because, support or a trend, right? So it's right there at an intermediate support line. So silver looks a little interesting, suspicious, I'm saying, right? So that's the quick analysis. But again, the bigger term issue with silver is just been consolidating for 1.5 years to the side. So to me, that's a little bit interesting. Okay, next we're going to US oil. All our lines got messed up on the chart for some reason. So US oil. All right. So just pointing out that sometimes, right, you get a mega crash in whatever asset or commodity. Happens on everything every once in a while, right? And this is US oil ETF fund is very fundamental driven, right? It's not just charts. Okay, so I'll just point that out there. The reason for that crash. Okay, so we have a resistance on top, 51.31, support 46.98, 44.75, 42.28, and then trend lines. Boom, trend lines. Another trend line. Probably right there would make sense. But if we just focus on price, okay, is a little short-term reversal possibly happening on oil, maybe, but it's right at a resistance zone, right? This broadening. So there's multiple trend lines and resistance points, right? There's a shorter term one. That's why I drew this one. And there's a longer term one, the bigger diagonal yellow one, right? So what I'm looking at is this a potential pattern? Possibly, right? Possibly measure it 8%. If it goes 8% to the top, it's measuring the yearly all-time high of 53 test. Okay, but if it fails, then downside target would really be 41.59 down here, downside target. And probably somewhere in the middle, 45.75, right? There's immediate target up here too. So those are the four targets on US oil ETF. If it's going to break out, it needs to break out soon. Maybe retest the neckline and try to bounce up, right? If not, it'll get rejected here and start trending down over time. So that's something I'll really watch for on US oil. Okay, let's do another one we haven't done. Natural gas, UNG. This is the United States Natural Gas Fund, ETF. Okay, so if we look long term, just like oil, right, there's more fundamental issues with the natural gas fund and energy sector. It even started crashing even before 2020, right? So that's just the price data on truth, right? I mean, showing us the truth. So where are we right now? Where we're near a resistance point, 1806. You could just use whole numbers at this point, 18, 19, 20, and then support to the downside, 16, 15, 14, 13, basically. Nice, easy whole numbers. It's not exactly exact science, perfect like that, but just for the sake of the stream, okay? And again, we were uptrending very nicely, going up. Now we're way up. So what needs to happen on natural gas fund is even if we pull back, right? We could pull back all the way down to here, 1528 would be a first proximate bull support target, right? And the obvious resistance targets when there's nothing in space, right, is just the whole number psychological, 18, 19, 20. But this is interesting to me is that the last part of this move was a little bit too much too fast, right? So when you get that in the market, it's probably going to pull back a little bit, right? Unless there's some fundamental reason why this thing needs to pump up to the moon, or just rally a couple dollars in the market. All right, so natural gas, I'm not going to spend too much time on this one, but those are the targets. Okay, DXY, the US dollar currency index. Next one, DXY. And there's a lot of stuff here on the charts, but these are the targets, okay? So DXY, the US dollar currency index, just the index value number of the US dollar is what it is. All right, so this was the beginning of 2020, right? We had that big volatility in the market, and then the DXY started downtrending. Then we had our support level, and we bounced up right now. Now it's consolidating between these two levels, 93.50 and 91.55. So then what needs to happen is if the DXY is going to continue its rally up, right, then we need to break out and break out to higher highs. Very simple. You just play the two levels. And the target, if you measure it using technical analysis, would be 1.3%, right? So 1.5 to 4%, right? So 1.5 first target would be 95. 95 first target. Second target, the 4%. We've already been looking at this for this whole time, 97. If it pulls down, right, if we bear break down and reject, then it's these levels down here, 91 and 89. Okay, so DXY. All right, we hit the 1 hour mark. Nobody has any requests today? It's because it's Sunday, Monday. We're really late in Europe. Let's see. What else did I miss that might help somebody? Okay, maybe we could do some foreign indexes for a few minutes, right? So I know sometimes we get Australian traders, so we'll do the ASX, the uh, the index. I have to do the AU 200. Yeah, sometimes, yeah. We'll just do the AUS 200. Sometimes the other index doesn't like pop up properly. So here we go. So this is the Australia 200 index. Okay, it's not the perfect index, but you get a general sense of what's happening here. So again, after we had the pandemic, started the pandemic and the crash, right? This is fear in the market. If somebody was asking me like about psychology in the market, when you see red like that, that is massive psychological fear in the red, the blue circle. That is fear. The very chart definition of fear capitulation. Okay. But then we did rally up because of vaccines and fiscal stimulus and the government saving us, or saving the economy, saving the stocks in the economy, right? But what I'm seeing on the Australia 200 index is there's longer term trend lines, right? There was one here that actually just got broken recently. So here is a potential issue, right? And there is resistance on top. So again, technical analysis works for almost every single asset. Even works on like just unrelated charts. It still works. So, stocks, crypto, indexes, commodities, anything you could throw on the charts with price, volume, or data, actually technical analysis still works. So what I'm noticing with the Australia 200 index is if you realize we just broke down below it and closed below it the past couple days of September for the past 3 trading sessions. So what could happen is get our resistance and support. Our resistance is 7536, 7644, support to downside 7328 and 7206. Right now that you got those general zones locked in, resistance and support, then it becomes a matter of the intraday price. Will this bounce up and test right here, the bottom of this trend line, 7490 area, right? Because if it bounces right there, two things can happen because it's already starting to downtrend, right? So it might make a lower high here. Bearish scenario is bounce, but then rejected and you go down even further to the bottom target here, 7248. That's the bear case scenario, bearish. Bullish case scenario would be you go up, eventually break into it, retest this trend line and break up to higher high, 7790, right? So those are the 7758. Those are the levels of the two scenarios that might happen on the Australia 200 index, right? So you just have to watch out for that because that did not happen with American indexes yet, but it happened on the Australia 200 index. So that's a very, very interesting clue right there. Okay. Let's do, let's see. So the FTSE, we could do the UK 100 index. All right, let's end here because sometimes I know there's some European um, or London traders, British traders from the UK here. So just recap, right? You had this pullback and then the capitulation, fear sell off, which happened globally, right? But now it's the FTSE 100 index, just the FTSE 100. It's not the entire index. But right, you have a trend line way down here. And then again, interestingly enough, the shorter term trend line is being tested right now. So the FTSE 100 index is different than the Australia 200 index. Right, maybe I'll erase this bottom one so it doesn't confuse people. And we'll tighten it up. So there we go. So where are we right now? The FTSE 100 is near the support area. I'm marking these resistances on top. Okay. But we are literally right at the support trend line right here. So if it's going higher highs, higher lows, this is still supposed to be a higher high, but it failed, right? It just barely, okay, it just barely is a higher high, fine. But it pulled back and this is a lower high, lower low, right? So very, very short term downtrend in the past 1 month downtrend, right? Lower low, lower high, lower low. So two scenarios that can happen on our support and resistance. Resistance 7187, support 6993, support 6825, resistance, another one up here 7302. So let's say bull case scenario, just because we're near the support, right, is it starts bouncing up to the first target 7180, maybe even continuation follow through if things go really well, all the way to 7381. The bear case scenario is this tries to rally, rejects down below the trend line, and we end up down here in this resistance zone. Excuse me, support zone down here, 6875, right? The bottom side, the underside. So you really want to watch out for that. It's kind of getting tricky, right, on the charts. It's getting suspicious on the charts. And we'll stop here is that if you see what happened, think about it. We just saw Bitcoin. We just saw USA stock indexes. We just looked at Australia index for the Australia traders. We looked at the FTSE 100 for London traders. We looked at US oil. What is happening right now in a nutshell? It's short-term downtrend for about either the past month or even the past week, right? Short-term downtrend. So the question remains for this week, for next 1, 2, 3 weeks is, are we going to bounce up in the market? Are we going to bounce? Let me draw it so no one's confused. We've been downtrending, right, for a lot of assets, and we're kind of like right here in the zone, right? Are we going to bounce up this week? Yeah, if yes, how high? That's why what this whole stream is about, right? Support and resistance. And then the question is it going to reverse the change, right, and go up? That's the question everyone's wondering right now. If not, it could pull back and start downtrending globally. That's something you want to be concerned about. Okay, so I would be a little more cautious this month because of what's happening on the charts. All right, everybody. All right. So looks like thanks for joining, everybody. Really appreciate everybody in the chat. And I am live right now on TradingView, YouTube, and Twitch. And we have a free Discord group right now. Okay, it's free Discord group, and I post my big term ideas in there, my live stream. So if you ever miss a live stream, I post it in there. If you want to have a request for the next live stream, one request, you can put that in the free Discord. I have a basic free watch list for the week, longer term watch list, right? We have a general chat as well. So those links are all in my profile right now. And always remember, technical analysis is the price truth. It's the truth of the price. So we analyze that. And try to understand where we are in the market with the constraints so that if anything happens, bull green or bear red, we're already prepared for it. So there is less FOMO. There is less fear. There is less emotion because you already know what could possibly happen, right? It's just a matter of what's the rest of the market going to do to confirm that. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. Hope you have a great, happy week in in whatever you're doing. And again, I'm going to make my live streams a little